All right. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to our September 29th edition of the Modernization Outreach Call here at Ginnie Mae. My name is Renee Justbuddy, and I am a business analyst in the Customer Experience Division within the Office of Securities Operations here at Ginnie Mae. Today, I'm joined by Stuart Spettle, our Director of Operations, and a whole host of other subject matter experts who will be assisting with covering topics that we are going to be discussing during today's call. But before we do get started, I do need to say that this call is for our Ginnie Mae business partners and system users. The information shared in this conference call and subsequent discussion is intended for invited participants only. This call is closed to the press, and all press inquiries are handled through the Ginnie Mae Communications Office. If the listener is not one of the intended recipients, you are hereby notified that any dissemination, distribution, or sharing of this information is strictly prohibited. All right, so again, welcome to our September 29th edition of our Modernization Call. Please go to the next slide. All right. So today we have on our agenda two very, very important topics that are very near and dear to us here at Ginnie Mae right now. The first being our planned business outage and the expectations around that. Lastly, we will discuss the RSA Secure ID soft token adoption. And at the end of the call, in between each of the agenda topics, there will be time for Q&A. And I will go over how each of you can unmute yourselves or participate rather in the Q&A session. All right, let's get started. First, we have the planned business outage expectations. And I will now turn the call over to our Director of Operations, Stuart Spettle.
Yeah, thank you, Renee, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stuart Spettle, and yes, I am the Ginnie Mae Director of Operations. So we're going to talk some about our planned business outage. So the overarching message here is that you, issuers, document custodians, and other Ginnie Mae program participants will be unable to access our applications via the My Ginnie Mae portal from Thursday, October 20th through Monday, the 24th. So more accurately, systems access will be blocked starting at 9 p.m. the day prior, which is Wednesday, October 19th. We plan on being up and running, business as usual, Tuesday, October 25th. So I wanted to bring to your attention and perhaps anticipate some questions about the limited business restrictions for the day prior, Wednesday, the 19th. So the 2 p.m. deadline for MBS certifications for next day delivery is unchanged. That means if you want to deliver securities on the 20th, you and your document custodian have to wrap everything up by 2 p.m. The 2 p.m. deadline there's also a 2 p.m. deadline for platinum pool submissions for next day delivery. If you require commitment authority, there's a 4 p.m. cutoff for the commitment authority requests. My personal suggestion is that you double check if you're running low on commitment authority and make sure that you've purchased commitment authority in advance. You don't want to wait till the last minute. The 4 p.m. is the latest electronic transmission date and the paper submission date for conversion of multifamily construction and project loans to project loans. There's a 9 p.m. deadline for buyer acceptance for PIT pools for immediate transfer. Make sure that your purchasing issuer has approved the transfer by 9 p.m. There's also a 9 p.m. deadline to perform the monthly RFS reporting certification. This would normally be due on the 21st, but since we're down, we've moved that deadline up to the 19th. Also a 9 p.m. deadline for buyer acceptance for pool transfer system submissions. If you have an effective servicing date, a servicing transfer date of January 1, 2023. And again, starting at 9, there'll be a hard cutoff and the My Ginnie Mae portal will be unavailable. A couple things I wanted to emphasize: that the collection of the Ginnie 2 P&I pass-through payments on October 20th, they will occur as scheduled, business as usual. And also that all MBS delivery dates that were previously scheduled for October 20th or any other period through the planned outage period will also be delivered business as usual. I think my last point is that the times mentioned here just emphasize that they are expressed in the Eastern time. So Renee, how about if I hand this back to you?
All right, thanks, Stuart. So again, we will have questions at the end of this session to go over any questions that you all may have. But before we do open up for questions, just want to point out that there have been some communications that have been published to our website. So if you can take a look at this slide, you'll see the existing communications, one being the Modernization Bulletin that explains in detail the planned business outage and any key information associated with that. You can find the Modernization Bulletin on the issuer's page on ginniemay.gov. There's also a link that you can select on the issuer's page of ginniemay.gov that outlines the pool dates calendar. At the end of today's call, this presentation, a link to this presentation will be provided in the chat so that you all can access it once it's over. If you look, you'll see there are some additional upcoming communications that we have highlighted here. What I'd like to point your attention to is at the bottom. We have a forthcoming modernization outreach bulletin that will be outlining a number of user interface changes happening as a result of the platform upgrades. So you all can be on the lookout for that the first week of October. And again, if you have any questions about the planned business outage that you may not think of during this call, please do direct all of those questions to askginniemay@hud.gov. Next slide, please. All right, FAQs. So regarding the planned business outage, we have developed FAQs that answer questions that have come up in previous modernization outreach calls, as well as during other direct communications that we've been having with our customers, with you all. So with that being said, as you can see here, we have several FAQs for you all to leverage to respond to any questions that you may have had. You'll see a star next to a question that is generally asked quite often, and that is, how will I know when the Ginnie Mae portal is open for business? So we would like for you all to pay attention to the banner on the My Ginnie Mae portal. So there, a maintenance banner will display while the My Ginnie Mae portal is unavailable. And this banner will be updated on Tuesday, October 25th, once all systems are operational, once they are fully operational. So I'm sure that's a question that many of you have right now, top of mind. So there you go. There's your answer to that. So again, to know when the portal is open for business and when you're able to begin doing business again, there will be a banner on the My Ginnie Mae portal up that's on October 25th that will announce once all systems are operational. Okay, next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you very much. So, thank you, Nicole. So if you all take a look at the chat, Nicole has posted the link to the FAQs for the planned business outage. Now is the time where you all can ask your questions away and we can answer them to the best that we can. We have, like I said, several SMEs on the call, so no worries. We will answer your questions as best as we can. If you dialed into the audio for today's conversation through your computer, you can hover your mouse over the bottom of your screen, and you can use the reaction button to raise your hand. And that'll let us know that you have a question. And then once you've done that, you can just press *9. I'm sorry, if you dialed in from your phone, you press *9 to raise your hand, and that'll indicate that you have a question. And then we will then call out the last four digits of your phone number. And once we've done that, you can dial *6 to unmute yourself. And if you're the quiet type and you prefer not to ask your questions verbally on the call, please use the Q&A box here on your screen to ask your questions. And I will be sure to call out those questions and we can answer those. All right, so I do see that we already have some questions in the chat. Jeff, thank you for your question. Jeff's question says, what about the reports such as matching or LLC reports be published early? So Stuart,
Okay. So are you saying that there are matching reports and letters of credit reports that are always scheduled during the period that's in the planned outage window? If you could clarify that. If so, there will be nothing posted during that window.
All right, Jeff, if you can elaborate more on your question.
Yeah. Or if we need to follow up on that.
Mm-hmm. All right, our next question, Trevor. Okay, Jeff, yes, the LLC reports are published on the 20th, so
Okay, let's take a look at that and see if there's any way for us to move that up or not. Okay, got it.
Yeah, we got that, Jeff. We'll make sure we get back to you on that.
Good question.
All right, our next question. Jeff has a conversation with the CL settling on, I'm sorry, you have a conversion with the CL settling on October 19th and the PN on October 24th. Can the CL still settle on the 19th, or does he need to change the PN to settle on the 25th?
As long as the pool is in the pipeline, we're gonna have it. We're gonna do the processing. As long as we have the pool in the pipeline, we'll do the processing, regardless of what you might not be able to do your processing. But BNY will still settle the pools according to the settlement dates.
And that's a similar answer to the next question that Nancy asked. If certified prior to 2 p.m. on October 19, can securities be delivered on Friday, October 21? If those are your delivery instructions and everything is wrapped up before 2 p.m. on October 19th, the answer is yes.
Okay, so Trevor had a follow-up question. He just wants to know, so can you still settle on the 24th?
Yes.
Yes, yes. Yes, Trevor, you can. No problem, you are very welcome.
Renee, we also have two people that have raised their hand. The first one is Cherry. I'll open your line so you can ask your question.
Hi, Sherry.
We can also come back, and the second person is Jan Hoffner.
Okay. If you have to press *6 to unmute yourself before speaking, just a reminder. So if you'd like to speak, Jan, just press *6 on your phone. Okay. You may be having some audio problems. If you're not able to ask your question out loud, please do put it in the chat and we will respond that way. All right, we have a few other questions coming in the chat. Oh, Nancy, okay. So, oh, I think we answered that one. Yes, we did. All right, so that was a question about where you were able to certify prior to 2 p.m. on the 19th. Let's see, Lois, can a CL to PN convert after the shutdown, say the last week of the month?
Again, as long as we have the pool in the pipeline, we'll meet those settlement dates.
Okay, Patricia, what process is in place if the attachment to install the soft token to your desktop is missing? You've already reached out. Okay, so she's already reached out to Ask Ginnie Mae, but has not received a response. Sorry about that, Patricia. So thanks for following up and asking that question. So again, her question is, what process is in place if the attachment to install the soft token to your desktop is missing? So we're actually going to talk about soft tokens a little later, but we can go ahead and answer that question for you now. Brad, are you able to answer that question?
Yep. So Renee, if we have Patricia's question in the Ask Ginnie Mae, we can get back directly there.
Okay. So yes, Patricia, we will get
Thanks
back
for
to
reading
you.
that, Patricia.
Thanks. Oh, okay, Jan, no problem. You didn't mean to.
That was a
That's
great
perfect.
question. I like that, Jen.
That was easy to answer.
That was easy to answer.
All right. Ginnie Mae can release bonds during the Ginnie Mae release bonds during the blackout period is the question. So if certified prior to the blackout, would the bond be released to the settlement agent during the blackout? They asked the same question last month and the answer was no. So it's a follow-up question.
So I'm assuming we're talking about our normal MBS. And I don't know what the thinking was last month, but I can confirm that if everything is completed by the deadline, 2 p.m. Wednesday, and you have accurate delivery instructions, we will deliver on the date that you specify.
Okay, thanks, Stuart.
Yep.
Our next question is, do we have to transfer to soft token? Soft token question, okay. So do we have to transfer to soft token option or is it just an alternative option? I can answer that, but I'll go ahead and let you answer that, Brad.
Yeah, well, I'll first ask, we are going to have a couple slides talking about RSA adoption if we can hold our questions until after those two, but the short answer is yes. It is not an alternative. Soft tokens are replacing the current hard tokens.
All right, and Samantha, if you don't mind, we will get back to your question as it also pertains to soft token, the soft token adoption. We will get back to you there, but it does look like you've reached out to Ask Ginnie Mae at HUD.gov 3 times with no response. We'll have to take a look into that also. But yes, we will get back to you during the soft token portion of the call. All right, the next question is following up on Patricia's question. Maria has a follow-up question. What can you all expect in terms of timing to get the attachment? Because the user is a critical processor.
So Renee, I think this is a similar RSA
question.
So Maria, if we will take down your name, but if there are users that are having trouble, if you could reach out to the Ask Ginnie Mae at HUD.gov service desk. We have folks working through those tickets.
All right, we have another question. I believe this just could be a follow-on question. This was asked, I think, a little earlier, but regarding the HMBS program, if we get initial certification by 2 p.m. on October 19th, can we settle HMBS pools during the blackout period?
Yes, as
Yes.
long as the pool is in our pipeline, we're gonna process it and it's an appropriate settlement date, we'll do it. Yes.
Right, no distinction between HMBS and the various, other
Pool types.
MBS. Yes,
Correct.
yes.
All right. All right, we have another question. Thanks for all the questions, everyone. Very much so appreciated. Monthly MBS reporting certifications occur between the 10th and the 14th business day each month. So for October, that's the 17th through the 21st. Is the certification window limited to the 17th and the 19th next month?
Yes, sorry for the inconvenience, but the answer is yes.
All right. Do you have to be on the HUD 11702 to, oh, that's a soft token question. You guys are eager to hear about this soft token.
Yeah, let's get on to it. But John, I think the short answer is yes, the same process exists for the soft token as the hard. So you need to be on the 11702. Wade, correct me if there's any nuance to that we need to share.
You're correct. The person needs to be an authorized signer, so they need to be on the company's 11702.
All right. Well, so in do we have any before we move on, do we have any more questions about the planned business outage? Okay. When the system comes back up on the 25th, on October 25th, will there be anything different on the menus, functionality, et cetera, other than using the soft token, or will functionality be the same?
So Renee, you had mentioned it briefly, but Ginnie Mae does plan to post another modernization bulletin next week on some UI UX changes, which will outline what to expect there from any changes in the current menus or applications that you're used to operating in.
Yeah, so there will be some minor changes. I might point out that one of the ramifications is if your institution is using bots to navigate through the menus or the screens, you'll want to pay close attention to that and have things lined up, to react accordingly. But it should be pretty self-explanatory and intuitive based on what I've seen.
All right, thanks everyone for all of these questions. Let us know, number one, you're listening, and number two, you're anxious about doing business. So with all of the soft token questions being asked, let's go on ahead and move on to the RSA secure soft token adoption. All right, next slide. All right, Brad, I will go ahead and hand this over to you.
All right. Thanks, Renee. Yeah, folks are eager to talk about this. So excited to jump in. So first thing, this information is specific to RSA token holders, but it's related to the planned outage and the platform upgrade. So it's good for all users to have awareness on what's going on. So what we're looking at here is a snapshot of our RSA soft token adoption timeline, so we can focus in on where we are today. So August 28th, we distributed all the soft tokens to users that we had identified as having a hard token. So those went out on August 28th. They had instructions along with them, including QRCs, which you can reference in the resources below, to install those on either your desktop or mobile device, whether it be an iOS device or an Android device. Since then, we've been working with users to successfully install and authenticate those. And until October 14th is when we're looking to have all of our users adopted and installed and authenticated. So throughout the next few weeks, you will see reminders sent to those that we have in our system that have not yet installed and authenticated. And we'll be monitoring and managing that Ask Ginnie Mae at HUD.gov service desk. So lastly, on October 25th, as Stuart mentioned, the business systems will come back online, and that is when the soft tokens will be live. The hard tokens will no longer be able to be used in systems at that point. And if you have not adopted the soft tokens at that point, it becomes that much more critical in order to do business with Ginnie Mae. But we're going to work with each of the users to try to meet that October 14th date, so we're installed and authenticated with plenty of time to spare. All right, in the bottom left, we do have the resources available to you all, which include the Modernization Bulletin with details on this transition to the soft token. We have FAQs specific to this adoption period and some of the common errors we're seeing and how to address them. And then the two QRCs I mentioned at token distribution, the mobile desktop, or the mobile and the desktop instructions. So in the meantime, the user expectations now are to install and authenticate your soft token. Once you do, please hold for the platform upgrade for the October 25th date for those business systems to come back online. If you use your soft token now and try to use it now, you will lock yourself out as they're not live yet, which will then you'll need to reach out to Ask Ginnie Mae at HUD.gov. So please hold, continue to use the hard tokens until the business systems come back online on October 25th. Lastly, we have noted a few users that did not receive a token that currently have a token. So we've sent a few of those out that we've received over the past few days. But if you fall into this camp and you believe you need a soft token but haven't yet received one, please send that note to Ask Ginnie Mae at HUD.gov, the service desk, and we'll confirm your eligibility for the soft token and provide it to you accordingly. Next slide. All right, so a quick peek behind the curtain of our adoption efforts to date. So we did send over well over 2,000 soft tokens to be installed and authenticated. We've had a good response thus far. Just under half of our active users, so those that we've deemed that are actively using the hard tokens today, have installed and authenticated successfully. So looking to continue to build on that progress. This is also, we've been leveraging, as most users know, our Ask Ginnie Mae service desk. So we've opened and resolved over 400 cases. So we thank you all for proactively reaching out with any questions or concerns you all have. And equally, we thank you for your patience as our agents run through all these tickets with the issues that folks have been sharing with us, and we can work with the team to address each accordingly. Right, so there have been a couple technical issues that have been resolved, but want to talk through those with the users here. The first one was a loading error with the RSA self-service console. So as you were pulling up that self-service console, the system was having trouble, and it was showing you the spinning icon trying to load your profile information. That has been addressed a few weeks ago. So if you're still seeing that, what we've seen has been successful for users is to close your browser and or clear the cache of that browser, and then try going to that self-service URL And that has been fixing the issue of late. The second major issue was the Android QR codes. So the initial QR code sent on August 28th were not compatible. The QR code in there was not compatible with Android devices, which obviously impacted our users that use Android devices. These Android tokens were distributed overnight on September 27th to all users that we had identified as not being installed and authenticated yet. If you did not receive the Android QR code overnight on the 27th and need one, please reach out to the Ask Ginnie Mae at HUD.gov service desk, and we'll provide you the Android code. Right. And then on the right side, what other errors are we seeing, or are our users reaching out with? So many users have reached out because they've either forgotten their PIN or password and need it to be reset. It's also possible that they've locked themselves out of their account by too many unsuccessful login attempts and need their account unlocked. So for both of these scenarios, please send a email to the Ask Ginnie Mae service desk, and we'll work with the team to unlock or reset your account or password and PIN and get back to you. All right. And again, on the bottom here, do not use your soft token prematurely. We can't stress this enough. The soft tokens, although if you've installed and authenticated already, those are not to be used in Ginnie Mae's systems yet. After the planned outage and the platform upgrades occur and the systems are back online on the 25th, that is when the soft tokens should be leveraged when you're asked for your RSA token. All right, lastly, I mean, we need your all's help to increase that 47% to 100% before October 14th. So please use the QRCs to install and authenticate your soft tokens, and please reach out to the Ask Ginnie Mae service desk with any questions, and that team will get back to you as soon as we can. All right. Renee, back over to you for the Q&A.
All right, thanks, Brad. So we see that we have a lot of questions pouring in about the RSA soft token. So first, I do want to go back to Samantha. I do see that, you said you've reached out 3 times to the Ask Ginnie Mae mailbox with no response. We will definitely look into that and take a look at the email. Well, as Brad did mention, our tier 1 agents have been extremely busy responding to questions and emails, and then also mitigating through the issues that he shared during that presentation. So we will definitely take a look at your question and get back to you. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. All right, Diana, you said that you received an email on the 26th of this month that your soft token's been successfully installed, and you tried to submit pools with it. So as Brad did mention, and he can reiterate again, that although you may have authenticated your soft tokens and installed them, we are asking that you hold off until October 25th, once our systems are back up and running and they are fully operational, to begin using your soft tokens at that time. So thank you for authenticating and installing your soft token, but just gonna have to wait a little bit longer until you can begin using it to submit pools. All right, what should you do if you have a hard token but did not receive an email with the new soft token?
Yep, I can jump in, Renee. So Ryan, please send that information along with the account for your My Ginnie Mae login to the Ask Ginnie Mae at HUD.gov service desk. We will just confirm your eligibility for that token before sending it back to you so you can install and authenticate.
All right. If we can't find the August email, how do you recover the, I'm sorry, if you can't find the August 28th email you sent to set up the soft token, how do we recover from that to get the soft token installed? So I believe yep.
Yep. So Nancy, if you're able to, we'll need to resend that to you. So if you're able also to send a note to the service desk, the Ask Ginnie Mae at HUD.gov service desk, we'll be able to resend that.
Okay. Can you install on your Android if you've already been installed on the computer? Wasn't aware the QR code Android issue was resolved.
Yep. So you're only able to install the token on one or the other and not on both.
All right, and Tara, your question is very similar to the other ones we just received about not receiving your soft token. You've emailed several times. If you two can, as Brad mentioned, send your information to the Ask Ginnie Mae mailbox. Brad, again, can you repeat what she needs to send over in order to verify her credentials so that she can receive her soft token?
Yeah, Tara, if you're just able to confirm your username for My Ginnie Mae, that's what we'll confirm has the eligibility to receive the token.
Okay, so looks like James is having a little bit of an issue. He was able to add the soft token to his Android device following the instructions. But when he got to step 7 in the instructions, where he typed in token.ginniemay.gov and used his user ID and pressed OK, he was not able to proceed. He received the message that he was not able to proceed. Is there anyone from the bank that can help James out?
Or Harrison, is this one we'll need James to submit a ticket for us for the technical side to look into?
Hey, Brad. Yeah, I think that would be probably the best next step. I'm not sure, James, if you have already submitted something to askginniemay.gov. We can check the status of that case and just make sure that we get the recommended resolution over to you. But if not, if you could send the email to askginniemay.gov, we'll make sure that someone helps you move forward.
Okay, our next question is, what happens if you get a new phone regardless and keep the same phone operation system or switch? Example, go from an iPhone to an Android.
Harrison,
Brad, I can take that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in the scenario in which you are going to be changing devices or prefer to move your token to a different device than you are currently using, that will start with a request to the askginniemay.gov site. And then our team that distributes the tokens will work with you to get you a new token set up on that device that you want to switch it to. And then make sure that once you've successfully done that, we clear out that old token so that one's no longer in use. But it is possible to switch devices. We'll just need to work through the steps with you to basically follow the same process that you did initially to set that up on a new device.
Okay, thanks, Harrison. So Kenneth has a question and wants to know, how will the new Penn passcode combination process work for submitting pools and certifications come October 25th? Will it be similar to how it worked with the physical tokens, doing the Penn plus passcode?
Renee, this is Harrison again. I can take this one. So it is similar in the fact that you need both the PIN and the passcode. However, the entry in which you submit that information within the applications does look a little bit different. So with the soft token, you will still have a 6-digit PIN. That PIN is used to generate a passcode on your token, and then that passcode is used in the application. So you no longer will enter the PIN plus the passcode. It will be the PIN into the application and then the passcode used to verify. And there will be quick reference cards and instructions on how to use this new entry method that will be posted to the website ahead of time. We're just working on getting those updated, and everyone who is a token holder will be notified once those are released onto the website.
All right, thanks again, Harrison. All right, so Julie has a question. So she's asking, so right now, Julie uses a non-Ginnie Mae application that requires the use of a soft token. And the soft token is already installed on her computer. When clicking on the RSA file provided by Ginnie Mae Desk at Deloitte.com, it is trying to open the existing token that is affiliated with her non-Ginnie Mae application. So her question is, can one soft token be used for two separate applications? And then there's a follow-on question, if so, how? And if not, how does she install two instances of the soft token?
So Julie, we'll find your ticket that you posed to Ask Ginnie Mae at HUD.gov. My expectation is we'll likely need to confirm with the RSA vendor on what you're experiencing, but we'll make sure we flag your ticket so we can get that response back.
All right, and Trevor wants to know, does he have to return his hard token?
Wade or someone from Bank of New York, I think.
We're working on that, and Trevor, there, just hold on a little bit, and we'll give proper instructions on where the token should be sent to, and so we're working on that. It hasn't been finalized yet, but stay tuned.
All right, Geraldine, we will take a look at your message and Ask Ginnie Mae and get back to you. I see that you reached out about your PIN. So again, we'll look into that and get back to you. Thanks for following up with us. Appreciate that. Stephen, do we need to authenticate our token through MAMS? And also as a subservicer, will he need to authenticate through all of their clients? Is that Harrison?
Hey, Renee. So you will use the soft token in which the same way in which you use the token today. So I believe MAMS is a point in which the token is required. Essentially everything that you're doing in the applications today using a hard token, after we switch over starting October 25th, you will now use the soft token. So within MAMS, same processes follow. It will just be using the soft token versus the hard token.
And then what about as a subservicer, will he need to authenticate through all of their clients?
I believe the answer is yes, Wade.
It will be the same process. You're going to have all those ID linked to that token. So it should be the same process that you're doing now. Nothing should have changed.
And so the next question is, will the reminder to install the soft tokens include both attachments?
No, the reminders will not include the original attachments from the August 28th email. If you do need those resent, please reach out. But the reminder emails will not have the original attachments.
All right, thanks, Brad. Before we move on to the next question in the chat, I have been told that there are 2 hands that are raised. Nicole, can you please?
Yes, Amy Ownby is the first person. You can unmute yourself.
And as a reminder to unmute, you just have to press star and then the number 6.
Okay, and Stephen Moya is the second person in case he wants to speak up.
All right, Stephen, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. I'm not sure. I'm using Zoom, so I wasn't sure how to unmute. So I have a couple of questions. So I was able to successfully download the app on the on my phone. When it asks for the PIN number, that's the PIN number that we usually use when we're submitting, correct? Or is that another PIN?
No, this is Harrison again. This is a separate PIN. So you will get a system generated PIN for the new soft token. So after you've installed the token and you get to the step where you see the screen to enter your PIN, you do not need to enter anything at that point. The QRC has steps defined for what to do next to generate the PIN that you will use for that soft token. It's going to the token.ginniemay.gov website and logging in. But if you have questions or run into any issues going through those steps to generate your new PIN, reach out to the askginniemay.gov mailbox and we can have someone help you out.
Got it. Because when I did enter the PIN that I use, I just entered the PIN that I use for submission, and it is giving me some security code number. It's an 8-digit PIN. Is that, and it keeps I guess it keeps updating after 60 seconds. So I'm thinking that's the ID I need.
Yeah, so the app will generate the passcode, but that passcode will not be valid if you did not enter the PIN that's associated with the soft token. So if you actually tried to use that passcode, it wouldn't work. But once you get your new PIN and use that PIN, then the passcode will work successfully.
Got it. Okay. I'll have to reach out for that. And then another question I had was, I had one of my employees trying to do the download into the desktop, but when she reached section 5 to open the zip file for Windows, she got an error saying that the application was I guess the app we're trying to install is not Microsoft verified. Is that something with Ginnie Mae, or do we have to contact our IT for that?
Yes, if you're running into issues installing the software on your company computer, that may be something that you need to coordinate with your IT department to see if it might need to be allowed on your devices.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. All right, so it looks like we don't have any other hands raised, so we'll move back to the Q&A. So the next question is, do we have to hold on to our soft tokens or hard tokens rather, or will they be collected? So Stephanie, I believe that was Wade Gale from Bank of New York Mellon, did confirm that they are working on it, and they are working on instructions for collecting hard tokens, and a notification or a communication rather will be sent out providing instructions on the process for that. Okay, our next question. So Sharon received the QRC on September 28th, but did not receive a new password. Will a new password be sent? Is that Harrison?
Hey, Renee, sorry, I missed that question. Could you repeat that?
So Sharon received the QRC on the 28th of this month and did not receive a new password and was wondering if she would receive a new password.
So in follow-up to the email that you received with the soft token files, that email should reference the subject line to search for an additional email that provided the information you needed to complete the token, which was a temporary password that you can use. If you did not receive the email with the temporary password, please reach out to askginniemay.gov and we can have a temporary password resent to you.
Harrison, for the Android QR codes that were sent overnight on the 27th, are there password implications for that email? Do they reference the one sent previously?
So if you were waiting for the Android QR code and have now received that, the same temporary password that you received on the 28th of August can be used for the setup with Android.
Okay. And Sharon, if you're not able to find that password, please reach out.
All right, so, okay, we're good to move on. So the next question comes from Leslie. She says that she received, sorry, let me read through this. She received a soft token. I'm sorry, okay, it's about communications. You're wondering if you've already verified your soft token and received an email, should you ignore it or will it be telling you to do something because something did not work? So you're wondering, will you receive an email regardless of whether or not you've already authenticated your soft token? I believe that's the question.
Right, yeah, the reminder should only go out to those that we identified as not having installed and authenticated. So if you have received that by mistake, yeah, no actions required if you've successfully installed and authenticated.
Okay, and so can soft tokens be uninstalled on a computer and then reinstalled on a phone?
Harrison, I believe this question is similar to the one where someone was changing their phone. If someone was changing their preference to where they wanted their token installed, is that the same instruction?
Yes, that's correct. So if you have it on your desktop and want to switch to your phone or vice versa, just reach out to askginniemay.gov and we will have someone help you go through the steps to get a new token file that can be used to install on a different device and have that old token that will not be used any longer removed.
So if a soft token is installed on a computer in error instead of what was intended to be for their Android, you're saying that they can, what can they do if they want to uninstall it from their computer to reinstall it on their Android?
That user should reach out to askginniemay.gov so that someone can help them get a new token to set up on a different device. So this is anytime you want to change the device that your token is installed on.
Okay, thank you. So the person who asked about installation on a computer due to an error for Android and was wondering, can that now be uninstalled from a computer and then reinstalled onto your Android? Please direct that question to askginniemay@hud.gov. Okay, so Pamela says that they had a team member request a hard token in August, but the tokens were no longer being assigned. And she wants to know what date can they request a soft token?
You can assign you can request a hard token up until October 1st. So you should be able, if you're going to need a token between now and then to do your process, you still can request a hard token up until October 1st.
All right. Donna, so you made an attempt to install the soft token 3 times and using the desktop feature. You had to uninstall it and was asked for a password 2 times and was only provided 1 password. You sent 2 emails to the askginniemay.gov mailbox and haven't received a response. Very sorry about that again. Also, the desktop installation documentation appears to be inaccurate in some places. So correct me if I'm wrong, Brad or Harrison, but it sounds like Donna needs to submit a ticket to the help desk.
So if
It sounds like a ticket has already been submitted. We'll make sure that we get a response to you if you have not received one. But I think for the instance in which you are requested for 2 passwords, that may be a similar item to what we had talked about with someone other question earlier. This may be a restriction from your organization's IT department that you would need to contact them to see if there's anything that might be blocking you from installing the software on your device.
Okay. All right, so the next question, Beth wants to know, when will she receive instructions on how to use the soft token? So I do know that instructions, there is a QRC that's published on the website that provide instructions on how to install and authenticate your soft token. Brad, have there been QRCs that provide instructions on how to use the soft token?
Not at this time. Our team is looking at how the new tokens interact with the applications that request RSA tokens. So if there's relevant instruction, Beth will be sure to put together either a QRC or something to document that. So something our CX team can look at.
All right, and Patricia has a question around timing for receiving reminder emails.
Yep, Patricia, what we're looking at is almost weekly reminder emails to all those we've identified as not having installed and authenticated. So we'll send out email blasts starting next week to a subset of the token holders that haven't installed and authenticated.
So the next question is, what if you faced the content loading issue previously? So you were unable to completely install and authenticate the soft token. And now that the issue has been resolved, is it necessary to start over? Or how do they finish the initial installation and authentication?
Harrison, correct me if I'm wrong here, but they do not need to start over. They'll need to go back to the self-service console, that token link.
Correct. Now that issue has been resolved, if you had previously been able to install the token, what you would need to do is just pick up from the QRC starting at the how to authenticate your soft token and follow the steps from there. So you will not have to reinstall a token. As long as you have the token, you should be good to move forward with the authenticating steps.
Okay, so we are at time, but we will definitely make sure that we will continue on with these questions because these are awesome. These are very, very good questions. So next, the next question is, you said Lorraine set up her token on her Android, but unfortunately inputted a PIN and wants to know how to take action. I believe, Lorraine, that you will need to submit a ticket to the help desk, but correct me if I'm wrong, Harrison.
Yep, I believe this is the scenario in the QRC where we tried to avoid inputting the PIN. So Harrison, if we need to open up a ticket to help that user resolve where they're at, just confirming that's the instruction.
Yeah, so if you got to that step in the QRC where it says do not enter a PIN and you accidentally did enter a PIN, That should not cause you any issues. You can just close out of the token and reopen it, but you should still be able to move forward. The next step in the QRC is actually going into the system to get the new system generated PIN that will be associated with your soft token. So as long as you're still able to do that step and get the new PIN, everything should work just fine. But if you do have questions as you're going through that, definitely reach out, open a ticket with askginniemay.gov, and someone will help you.
Okay, so it looks like there was some miscommunication to Valerie. She says that they were told not to request hard tokens and wait to request new soft tokens after the cutover. So that was a miscommunication. Brad, do you want to provide some clarity around that?
I can. Wait, Gail, if you do need a token to do business now, and it's crucial, you can request a hard token. But after October 25th, you're going to need the soft token to do business with Ginnie Mae. But if you need a hard token now to do business up until then, you can request one.
Okay, so the next question is, does a version of RSA software matter? Maria states that they have an older version, but they were still able to authenticate. She just wants to confirm that it will be okay and it won't be an issue when we go live.
Yes, as long as you're able to authenticate, the token that you're using, device that you have already installed should work.
Okay. There is a question. There's the last three are, one of them is a question, just asking, why are we eliminating the option of a hard token?
Yep, I can handle that. I think the primary reason is for the enhanced security features that exist with the Secure ID soft tokens and most financial institutions moving that direction. So yeah, primarily enhanced security features that Ginnie Mae is looking to implement.
All right, thanks, Brad. So Maybell, you just wanted to confirm that yes, you are to begin using the soft tokens effective October 20th. October 25th. So you are correct with that. Yes, please do start using the soft tokens on October 25th, not prior to that date. And prior to that, should you continue using your hard tokens? Yes. Okay. Another question or a comment rather. Tina, you had a problem with the installation with step 5. It took your IT administrator to override and allow installation on your company computer. Are we aware of that issue?
But yeah, every organization is unique in some of the security procedures that are put in place. So yeah, there are times that you'll need to contact someone in your IT department if a pop-up is blocked or if there's certain security feature or applications you can't install to your desktop or mobile device. So Tina, you'd certainly follow the right steps there, and it's helpful for others to understand that too.
And our last question is, someone mentioned that all they received was a desk, or it was our last question, but we have one more that just popped through. But before we get to that one, someone mentioned that they received a desktop and Android option only. And they said to them, it seemed as though the process may be a little off.
So on August 28th, that email that you are referencing that had the desktop also had a QR code that was not compatible with Android. So if you're looking to install on iOS, that's the QR code to use. And then the September 27th overnight email was the one specific to Android. So we don't have the name for that user, but if there is something you feel you missed in either of those emails, please reach out to create a ticket with Ask Ginnie Mae.
All right, so the last question that came in, I think Harrison touched on this just a few minutes ago. So Colleen mentions that she has an Android phone and she was waiting for the Android QRC. But while she waited, she experienced that the RSA Secure ID app generally needs to be installed and then uninstalled and then reinstalled. And that the last screen asks her to enter a secure PIN, which she does not have. And but she cannot go back to the previous screen, and hitting the home button does not help either. She says that her only way out is to uninstall and reinstall. So Harrison, I believe that you touched on this a few minutes ago about entering the PIN in the QR with the QRC states. Harrison, can you hear me?
Hey, Renee, sorry, what was the question?
So it was a comment rather about experiencing having to uninstall and then reinstall the application on her Android. I believe that's what it is. So she was waiting for the Android QRC, but while she waited, she experienced that RSA needs to be uninstalled and then reinstalled, and that she's asked to enter a secure ID PIN, which she doesn't have. And then the only way out of the application is to uninstall and then reinstall it onto her device.
Got it. So if you still need to get your soft token PIN, the QRC that you should have received with the token distributions will have a step in there of how to generate that new soft token PIN. So going through the token.ginniemay.gov site, there is a link on there that will allow you to generate your soft token PIN, and that will be the PIN that you use going forward.
All righty, so that looks like it was all of the questions that we received. Nicole, do you see any hands up before I close out?
No, we don't have any hands up right now.
Okay, wonderful. So thank you all for all of those wonderful questions. Very much so appreciated you all asking questions just to make sure that we can provide clarity to you all. Okay, Colleen is following up and she says, will it work once she receives the QRC for the Android phone? And that's a follow-up question to the PIN question, Harrison, that she just asked.
Yes. So now that you have the Android QRC or the Android QR code, you can use that QR code to set up the token on your Android device. If you have not already gone to token.ginniemay.gov to capture your new soft token PIN, please make sure you do that. But you can set up the token, then go to that site and get the PIN, and then use that to complete the authentication steps.
Thank you. So yeah, it looks like you responded to her follow-on question. Okay, she says, but I put my username in and hit password on the next screen. Then the site tells her that her username and password are incorrect.
Okay, for that instance, if you haven't already, please submit a email to askginniemay.gov, and we can have someone help get you a new password.
All right, thank you. Stuart, I do see your hand up, yes.
Yes, thank you, Renee. I wanted to circle back to a question that Jeff asked earlier about LOC or letter of credit reports. Pointed out that they were published on the 20th and was asking if the date would be moved up. So as things currently stand, we would be publishing them on schedule. They'd be posted to eNote on the 20th. The bad news is that you would not be able to access them until Tuesday. We will take a look at that, however, and if it makes sense to move them up, I'll explore that idea. My suggestion is perhaps if you want to check eNote on the 19th, we might be able to move them up. But I definitely need to engage a couple of other people to explore, the ramifications there. So that was a great point. Thank you for pointing that out.
Thanks, Stuart. All right, so I do see that Nicole has posted the link to the presentation for today's call. So you can definitely feel free to go on to ginniemay.gov and go to our issuers page, and you will find, actually you could just, she provided the link. You can go ahead and access the link here and go on there and find the presentation. Before we close out, I do want to let you all know that this call will be published onto the website. It'll be uploaded early next week. And last but certainly not least, thank you for attending today's call and participating in today's call. We appreciate your participation and your attendance very much. Again, if you have any questions that you were not able to ask during the call and you think about after the call has ended, please do direct them to askginniemay.gov. Again, apologize for any of you who have reached out to the mailbox and haven't received a response thus far. As we mentioned earlier, our tier 1 agents are working around the clock to make sure that we are providing the best service possible to you all. And if we haven't gotten to you yet, we definitely will get to you to help you resolve whatever issues that you're experiencing and answer those questions that you have. All right, so if we don't have any other questions, I do thank you again, and everyone have a wonderful rest of the week. Goodbye.